All right, we're live. Hey, everybody. We'll get going here in a sec. We're going to go over AEW Full Gear, but just give us a few minutes. I'm going to do some things on the back end, and then we'll get going. So have these two bozos talk to you.
King Bozo to you.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. It's like the king of the misfit toys over here. Put your crown on, DDJ. I know you want to.
Oh, God.
You told me to take it off.
Yeah, I did. But, I mean, we've got some time. You might as well give the people what they want.
I'm a man of the people.
If it wasn't a Macho King crown, I'd probably be more upset with it, but I guess I'm okay.
Yeah. The only thing is it's a little too small, so it won't go all the way down like I had hoped it would. So,
well, you know, it still looks nice. I won't say anything bad about it.
I appreciate that, Giovanni. You know what? Maybe you're not such a bad guy after all.
Retribution.
I take that.
Oh, yeah. You think that I'm not such a bad guy, and I'm going to pull out the retribution.
Off with his head.
Because retribution is not the cream of the crop.
No, it is not.
Are we going to get into retribution on an AEW pay-per-view?
Oh,
Come
God,
on,
no.
guys.
I can't handle it tonight. I'm sorry. We'll save that for the actual show.
This show was so good. I'm like pumped to talk about it, and that would just totally kill the vibe.
What do you think out of 10, DDJ, while we're getting set up to go live across all the platforms?
What was that? What was your question?
Out of 10, what do you give it?
I give it an 8.5.
You know what? I think it's a solid 8 to 8.5 as well. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and we'll get into why I think it could have done a bit better. But it was solid.
100%. It was, yeah. The only match I would probably say the worst match for me was the Sheeta and Nyla match.
Yeah, they didn't even live up to their last match they had together.
No, the one that when Sheeta won the belt was way better than this.
But I was digging Nyla Rose's Mega Man outfit. Like I want those armbands.
Man, they really made her look like a bitch at the end.
Yeah, with that Vicky thing.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
All right.
We're good. All right, guys. Sorry, just had to do some sharing things with Facebook because, they're weird about how they share shit.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring, that's for sure. Guys, it is 12:20 a.m. Eastern. I think 11:20 where these guys are.
Yep.
It's late, but it's time for the AEW Full Gear predictions. Let's just get into it. We had the buy-in match. We had Serena Deeb versus Allison Kay for the NWA Women's Championship. Actually, really good match. Allison Kay came out looking very good. Then, Serena Deeb and her had, I think, a very physical match. And overall, good opening weight to the show. And had a nice surprise at the end with Thunder Rosa coming back to an AEW ring. It looks like we're going to get Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb. So, guys, what's your thoughts on that match and kind of the buy-in just leading to the show?
I thought it was like you pretty much said, it was a really good match. And I mean, I know when I was really excited when this match got announced as the new buy-in match once they decided to move the Orange Cassidy versus John Silver to the main card. So I was really excited to hear this. And for a match that was, I think, announced less than a week ago.
Yes.
I thought, it was a really good match. I don't think it was any surprise that Serena Deeb won, especially considering since Allison Kay announced that she was a free agent recently and stuff. But it was very physical, a lot of great moves. Deeb's submission move she had to win the match was really nice, and yeah, like I said, that surprise at the end with Thunder Rosa coming out. It looks like we're gonna get Thunder Rosa Serena Deeb 3, and I'm all for it.
Man, and I'm going to follow up with you there, DDJ. I thoroughly enjoyed this match, even if Serena Deeb looks like the hot MILF at yoga.
Hey, she's a yoga instructor.
She's a yogi, man. Yogi it up. Freaking yard it up. But
oh wait, you're not talking about Yogi Bear. Never mind.
Not Yogi Bear. No.
Definitely not Yogi Bear.
Wrong Yogi. But you can definitely tell that Serena Deeb has been in the game a while. She's just her move set, the way she looks fluid in the ring. Thoroughly great match to start up a good card, and then Thunder Rosa making the appearance. I'm a big fan of Thunder Rosa. I'd love to see her in AEW. So I'm all in.
All in. We got Rich joining us with our first comment here. Amazing pay-per-view. I think we all agree that it was a good show. Might even be the best AEW show so far. Some things were a little hicky, but we'll get into that. Let's start off with the first match of the night, which honestly I was shocked they put this first. Kenny Omega versus Hangman Adam Page in the finals of the title eliminator tournament. I think that's what it was. Kenny Omega goes over and will be facing the winner of, we're going to go ahead and talk about it. John Moxley and Eddie Kingston. John Moxley did retain. So they will be fighting in the future. But, guys, I honestly thought it was a great match. There were some amazing spots. These two can go any day. And I don't think, because if you watched our predictions episode last night, I think there's a lot more to come with them too, for sure. But overall, great match for sure.
Go ahead, Giovanni.
You know what? Definitely a great match, man. And that happens when you've tagged with somebody, you get to know their moveset and they know yours. And with the way that fight felt, man, it was just everybody knew what was coming next. This move's coming, that move's coming. Holy crap, is Omega trying to do a buckshot? Is Hangman gonna throw the one-winged angel? I was on the edge of my seat the whole night for this match. This whole match, I was just blown away by the technical side of it. Like, everything was crisp with these two. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love Kenny Omega, so Omega going over wasn't a shock to me, although I picked Hangman to go over. But Kenny Omega deserves it. Let's get the cleaner belt.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was shocked that, like you mentioned, Spencer, and I think it was kind of, or I think I mentioned it when I joined you guys in the video chat that we had before during the show. That came on, I think, right after this match ended. I was shocked that it opened the match, but I can see why it opened the show, because you always want to open the show with like a hot match that's going to get the crowd going.
Absolutely.
I know. I think Bully Ray always says on Busted Open, the two most important matches on the card are the last match and the first match. And really, when you think of it from that perspective, there really wasn't any other match that could have started off this show any better than Hangman versus Kenny did. Not only was it technical, but it started out really physical, and at points it got really physical. From the slaps, the chops.
Yeah.
I think Omega took one to the throat.
Yeah, and stuff. But no, it basically, the match accomplished what it needed to accomplish. Kenny Omega went over, but the thing is Hangman got even more over. So, and anytime that both wrestlers get over in a match, that's ultimately what I think every wrestling match should aspire to be. So,
exactly.
Right, they made the right call to go with Hangman, and yeah, I really think the streak he's been on, you're probably looking at the next AEW champion.
Kenny Omega, right?
Omega.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Next up, we had Orange Cassidy versus John Silver. And I know Orange Cassidy went over and more than likely was going to go over. And everybody said Orange Cassidy was going to go over. But hell, I want to give praise to John Silver. Mm-hmm. That man looked great tonight. Orange Cassidy, he always does great. But John Silver, people are not giving that man enough credit. He pulled off some shit in the ring that looked crisp. It looked amazing. I swear they need to find a way to get a belt on him. Johnny Hungy needs some gold because Johnny Hungy is gold.
Yeah, I think I even said, after the match, I said that was potentially his breakout match. That showed in all the years I've been watching wrestling, I'd never seen anybody do a one-handed military press slam. And John Silver, brutal. Wow. I mean, and how brilliant was it for him to rip out the pockets and basically eat the pockets out of that I was like, wow, I'm like, this is total genius.
My whole house popped for that. When he ripped the pockets, that we lost it.
Yeah, I did too. I thought that was just brilliant. And yeah, but Orange Cassidy definitely, got the matchup. But man, though, again, much like I said about Omega versus Hangman, Orange Cassidy went over, but John Silver sure as hell got over even more.
Yes. Sir. Join the Dark Order.
So
there you go.
All right, Giovanni, what do you got?
Hey, man, that's all we can say on that one. I say we move on up.
Okay. Before we do move on, I got a comment here from Rich Broadhead. He says he thinks the one-winged angel is too protected. Matches last until Kenny Omega hits it. What's y'all's thoughts on it? I personally think they are saving whoever kicks out of the one-winged angel for a very big moment. Maybe like when he faces John Moxley and he has to hit like 2 or 3 of them to knock him out. Thoughts on that?
My whole thing is the point of a finishing move is in the title. It's a finishing move.
Right.
Yes. You hit that move and it's over. That's it. And finishing moves have become a bit of a lost art in the world of professional wrestling.
Yes.
I agree.
So while he had, our audience members, first off, thank you for listening so much. We really appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely.
But I mean, that's what you want to do with your finisher. You want to protect it because if he hits it every match and everybody kicks out, it becomes just another move.
Yes.
So that's my thing is it's one of those things when he hits it, it's over.
Yeah, and just to back up DDJ here, I mean, guys, for how long was it that no one kicked out of the Immortal Leg Drop?
Yeah.
The Stone Cold Stunner, the Rock Bottom, the Pedigree. These were moves that once they were hit, that's over. Good night. This is the end of the match. It's not like nowadays in the WWE where you have to hit 15 RKOs, 17 curb stomps, freaking how many times you have to get F5 by Brock Lesnar to go down. I mean,
throw in a couple of Cobras.
Yes. Guys, it's ridiculous how some companies and some wrestlers' finisher move is just thrown out there on a whim. And, they're being watered down. The fact that the one-winged angel is still protected, and not just protected in AEW, protected in New Japan, because Okada, everybody, once that one-winged angel hits, that's all she wrote. And to me, that's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have your one and done. If I hit my best against you, you're out of there.
Yep.
Okay.
But thanks for listening, Rich.
Yes, thank you, Rich.
Appreciate that.
Don't go anywhere, please.
We'll shout you out again, Rich. Rich.
Rich. Next up, we had Cody Rhodes.
Yes.
Now he can officially use that name again. Hold on, audio's a little messed up. Cody Rhodes versus Darby Allin in the TNT Championship match. Right call was made, 100%. Cody should have not gone over. He put Darby over, and he won. In what was already the match of the night, that one came later. But this one, before that, it was a great match. Cody did the job. He pulled off some shit, and still kind of on the fence about him, and he is embracing the darkness. I do see that more now. But, again, overall, great match. I want to give a shout-out to our admin and big boss man, Jacob, who hated the tree on Darby's face. Before we get started, what did you think of his face paint tonight, guys? And then give me your thoughts on the match.
I love the tree.
I love the tree, too.
It was good. It was good stuff.
because it went up the whole body into the face.
I know.
Like it was freaking amazing.
That's but Giovanni, you were shaking your head and like disappointment and with the thumbs down.
Yeah.
Have at it.
I mean, you guys know I'm a big time Cody Mark. I'm a Cody supporter. PWJ junkies, everybody listening to this, if y'all remember, if y'all get the money, I'll get the tattoo.
On his ass.
Not on my ass. Probably be on my arm, not my neck. Come on, guys. But in my opinion, Cody Rhodes now, that's the face that runs the place, guys, whether you like it or not. Sorry to be that way. But the Prince of Pro Wrestling, I just feel like, number one, he shouldn't have lost to Darby. I understand Darby's up and coming. You want to give him the rub.
Right.
You want to build from within and build up. And the TNT title, in essence, was made to do that. But for Darby to take out Cody, who was so much bigger than he is, Cody is having moments in the ring where he's barely even messing with him. He's reversing his moves. He's not allowing Darby to pick him up. He's tripping him with the little kick to the leg. To me, it was like a powerhouse David and Goliath story where, yes, they have Darby going over, but I don't necessarily think that the right call was made on that one, man. And it could be my Cody fanhood here that's making me kind of go against Darby. And I love Darby. And I could see why the title was taken off of Cody, to give the chance to all the other people in the company to kind of make their name with that title. But hot take, the belt came off of Cody so they can get the big one on him soon.
Okay.
See, for me, I understand and I respect your opinion, Jovan. And you spoke to it very well, but I mean, I'm going to disagree with you on this. Like Spencer, I absolutely believe the right call was made because, the whole point of the TNT title, it's kind of in the same vein that, like, say, the Intercontinental title used to be, right. The United States title used to be.
Mm-hmm.
When you got that belt, like, you were on your way up. And someone like Cody doesn't need a title, like, in my opinion. Because I mean, he's clearly over with, the whole crowd.
Yeah.
Right.
And that, so, but I mean, thing is Darby had already lost, I believe, twice to Cody, and then they had that one draw at that was is that Fighter Fest, the first Fighter Fest?
Fighter Fest, yeah.
Okay.
The first one.
And that, so, but I mean, Darby is one of those guys that is on the rise. I mean, again, like I mentioned before, when we were discussing, I think, when we did a discussion on AEW's 1 year anniversary and stuff, I'd mentioned about, like, in terms of guys that really were being, put in the spotlight and stuff. Darby Allin was one of them. Those guys that was like becoming like really like, an AEW homegrown talent. And I think putting this belt on him again was the right move because this shows that, he is on his way. Like, his time is coming. Mm-hmm. I mean, he clearly has a connection with the crowd. He's very much AEW's version of Jeff Hardy. And we all know how over Jeff Hardy is and has been for over 20 years, and, since the Hardy Boys started really making it big. That being said, I wasn't too thrilled with the aftermath. I mean, don't get me wrong. That promo Taz cut after the match, I mean, I'm like, damn, he is spitting fire. And then that was like brutal, but I really feel like, that kind of spoiled Darby's moment in the sun that he should have had. I mean, he had it very briefly, but I just felt like they could have maybe saved the aftermath of the match for, say, this coming Wednesday in Dynamite, like when Darby comes out, maybe gets interviewed by Tony Schiavone and that. So, but again, like I said, Cody doesn't need a belt. I think this went a long way in maybe diverting that, Cody becoming AEW's Triple H, vibes and stuff. And that was kind of the main reason why I felt that this was the right thing to do, because much like you, Giovanni, I'm a huge Cody fan. I've you know, he's one of those guys that I'm so glad that he bet on himself because he's, you know, he's done so much since he left WWE, but I didn't want it to get to the point where it's just like, okay, he doesn't need to be putting himself over like this. And I didn't want my fandom to dissipate. And this went a long way in cementing my fandom or keeping my fandom from Cody alive.
So you see there, junkies, we can always disagree on various topics, but we're still friends.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Retribution.
For reasons like that.
Hey, we didn't even know you were going to say that, and then we just said ask for it. And we did it together. That's what makes us real friends, Jovan.
That's right.
But is that anyone's ever had?
We're the three best anyone's gonna have. See, we're all fandangoing. Everybody fandango.
It's almost midnight where I live, and I'm fandangoing. Man, my life sucks.
Yeah, but what was I going to say? The Elite, you know, they were worried about the perception of, you know, having basically when this whole company started, people were like, oh, it's just for them to put their titles on them. Kenny hasn't held the title yet. The Bucks finally won a title tonight. Cody took a while, and he didn't even win the top belt. He won the TNT belt. Adam Hangman Page hasn't won a belt. Will win one eventually. He did win titles, so it took a while for them to get titles, but nothing like the main title. They didn't put like the big one on. They did Jericho. So you know, I definitely see the whole reasoning behind that. We talked about it last night. You know how Cody could be the Triple H or the Jeff Jarrett, and you know their perceptions. And if he did keep the title and he doesn't go like full heel, you know, it's no reason to. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes with it now. I don't think he'll go after it again. I think now it's going to be in Darby, and then as we talked about last night, Ricky Starks is probably going to fight Darby. Well, first they'll get through the Team Taz stuff, and then maybe focus on that. But during the aftermath, I want to focus on something. First off, you know, Darby came to the ring in this pretty awesome car. He had all decked out skateboard, smashed the car to like face the company or something like that. So then Team Taz comes, they attack him and Cody. But then right as Darby's about to get his arm smashed in the car, Will Hobbs makes the save. And I'm going to go ahead and keep shouting this out until they prove me wrong, because Team Taz wants Will Hobbs on their team. Will Hobbs will eventually be a member of Team Taz. I will keep shouting that to the rooftops because I think it'll happen.
I'm going to say this for that point, you guys, and this is, I love this pay-per-view, and we could get into this a little bit towards the end as well.
Right.
But that point to me, everybody was waiting for these big debuts to happen, right? Mm-hmm. They've always been, all the material leading into this was like, and this is this, and you never know who's going to show up type of bull crap. Darby's about to get his arm broken in this damn car door. Mm-hmm. What would have been, it would have been easy to kill the lights.
Yep.
Cut the lights back on, and boom, the icon Sting.
Yeah.
For the save with the bat. But we got Willpower. Much love to Willpower, Will Hobbs, but I felt like that was a missed opportunity if indeed they do plan on bringing in Sting.
Yeah. Anything to add, Dennis, or ready to move on?
Let's move on.
All right, good, because, like I said, we're all getting tired, but we're going to power through this because we love y'all.
I'm all hyped up on Mountain Dew. What's tired?
Oh, he's all hyped up on Mountain Dew, everybody. I don't even know what the hell that was. I'm super tired. Okay. Okay, cool. We will probably get into what I consider the weak point of the show. In an overall strong card, we have the AEW Women's Championship match, Hikaru Shida versus Nyla Rose. Like I said, I think it was probably the weakest match on the card, the one that had probably the least amount of build. Basically, Shida was like, Nyla was calling her out, for the championship, and Shida's like, okay, sure, we can challenge each other at Full Gear. Then they had a match. Vicky Guerrero got involved. The end. It was okay for what it was. I think Nyla still needs a lot of work outside of the ring. Personally, I think Shida is definitely the better of the two wrestlers there. And then eventually when her and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, you got to put that on there. When they fight, it'll be a great match, probably at Revolution, or possibly they could hotshot Anna Jay and put her into that position. But overall, weakest match of the card. Sheeta deserves better.
Stop trying to make Anna Jay work. It's not going to work. No, I'm just joking.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. It'll work. Yeah, come on.
So again, yeah, this was, again on a show that I would give like an 8 point. Which actually, you know what? I'll save my overall rating towards the end or whenever we decide to discuss it. But overall, a very solid show.
Right.
But yes, it was definitely the weakest on the card, and
Yeah.
I mean, and it's a shame because the match that these two had at All Out, where Sheeta won the title, was a lot better.
Double or Nothing.
Yeah, or Double or Nothing. Thank you. I'm sorry, I got those two. Everything being from Daly's Place gets confusing after a while. So,
yeah.
But no, I thought the match they had at Double or Nothing was a lot better than this one.
Yes,
and I agreed. I think it shows that Nyla Rose has that really imposing look that you want in your monster heel, especially for women's division. But Nyla Rose has work that still needs to be done.
She's still a little green, and it shows.
Right. And I mean, again, I'm happy Sheeta went over, because becoming a real huge Sheeta fan. I like her look. I love her music. I love her style, and that. So I'm very happy with the match and stuff. The one thing that I really took issue with in this match was after the match when Vicky and Nyla were arguing. Vicky slaps Nyla, and I'm thinking to myself, and I think I even said this to you, Spence. I'm like, Nyla's gonna kill her.
Oh yeah,
and she just stood there and almost looked like she was going to start crying. And I'm thinking,
I was waiting for the power bomb.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, I'm like, man, they just really, I don't know if emasculated would be the proper term here,
right? But
I mean, they really made Nyla look like a bitch in this match after that.
Yeah,
because someone of her stature. If someone slaps you in the face and you look like Nyla in terms of that build and stuff, you're not going to sit there and just stand there and just look like you're about to cry. You're going to just sit there and snap and just waste whoever did that. So,
Junkies, that is a PSA from DDJ. If somebody slaps you and you're bigger than them, don't act like a bitch. Whoop that ass.
Whoop that ass.
I don't know if I'd exactly put it that way. The way you eloquently just so put it, Giovanni. I mean, but it was, that was the one major issue I had with this match was that there, because I just really felt like it made Nyla look like, like just for lack of a better term, a bitch.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I thought you were going to say Javon. Kind of bathroom break match of the card. And an overall strong card. I want to call back to what Dennis just said, and then we'll move on. At the show in Atlanta, I remember a promo Nyla Rose did, and she said she breaks bitches, but she was a bitch tonight. That's my thoughts on that. Give a few shout-outs here. Steve J has been joining us for a little while. He wanted to say hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the Junkyard, Steve.
Yes, absolutely. Great match. Cody deserved to win. Cody didn't need the title. These are all Steve.
Okay.
So everybody hates Cody Jovan.
Oh.
I don't hate Cody.
See, I don't hate Cody either. I think I like him more as a person, but as a wrestler, he still kind of irks me, and I'm not really on board with him yet. So
I'm still a fan of yours, Steve J. It's okay.
We love you, Steve. Thanks for watching and joining us.
I think Steve and Rich might be the only two watching, but we love you guys. We appreciate it. We know it's late, but wanted to get this out there for everybody or whoever's watching. But hey, let's move on to the next match, which will be was that the next one? That was the next one. Okay. We had, and I think this is personally the match of the night. I think it fully delivered, and I think you boys know where I'm going. We have FTR versus the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, where Tully Blanchard was banned from ringside, and then if the Bucks didn't win, they could never challenge for the titles again. I was saying I didn't think the match was going to happen. I think they were going to find a way out of it because Matt was hurt. Nope. They said, screw it. We're going on the match, and we're going to put on one hell of a match. I don't think it was as good, and we talked about it, Dennis, during our stream. We don't think it was as good as, the Bucks versus Kenny and Hangman. But I think that's honestly just because it needed to be in front of a way bigger audience than what it was tonight. And it could have been so much more. But for what it was, Meltzer will probably still give it 5 stars because, he's Dave Meltzer and he just goes ooh gaga over the Bucks and Revival. So over. No, PWJ loves Dave Meltzer. Come join the Junkyard. Or meet and greet. That'd be very interesting, actually. But yeah, overall, great match of the night. They did some amazing spots where they did a ton of tag team finishers. I don't even remember them all. We had the Twist of Fate, Steiner Recliner, 3D, other stuff.
Heartline, yep.
Yeah, Heart Attack, Heartline, whatever you call it.
Steiner Bulldog, not the Steiner Recliner.
Whatever. I'm tired.
Oh my.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, great, guys. Give me your thoughts on that match and why it was actually really good.
Giovanni, why don't you lead off on this one, buddy?
Let me do this. For 2 of the best tag teams in the world, I think it was very fitting that the ring gear for both of them was a classic rivalry.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally forgot to call the ring gear. Yeah, go ahead.
FTR showing up in the Boston Celtics screen with the Young Bucks being from California, Rancho Cucamonga. They came in with the Lakers purple and gold. Guys, I'm a Lakers fan, and I want those pants. If they ever sell those pants, I'm buying them.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you something. I think those figures are going to be made one day, and I know Javon's going to want them.
I will. Moving along from that, just everything kind of worked, man. The ring psychology in this match was phenomenal. The selling of the injuries, the selling of the hot tags, the in and out work, the homage to all of the great tag teams. I mean, for me, this wasn't as great as Hangman and Omega versus the Bucks, but that was just an instant classic. But it's a step below it.
Yeah,
I think the next match we get between these two, if we get a fully healthy Matt Jackson, I think they can put on a match that'll beat the Hangman Omega match.
Yes.
But for what this was, what the limitations they had, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And this may have been my show stealer.
Yeah, I remember basically up until this match happened, I thought to myself, I was like, that Cody Darby was going to be match of the night. But yeah, just the more I think about it, this match gets show stealer. This match gets match of the night in my book as well, too. And for a lot of the same reasons that you both just, mentioned. For me, being a bit fan of the old school wrestling and stuff like that, seeing all those tag team moves popped out. Again, you had the Heart Attack, you had the Steiner Bulldog, you had the Hardy Boys Twist of Fate Swanton combination, you had 3D. I mean, literally, you had the only thing that was missing from that match was a Doomsday Device.
Yes. And
that, again, though, and yes, I agree with you. Hangman and Kenny versus the Bucks from Revolution was better than this, and I'm not just saying that because I was there live. But I mean, again, if Matt Jackson's 100% and this match were in front of 10,000 versus 1,000, this match would have easily blown that match out of the water. And I have no doubt that when these two teams get in the ring again, when Matt Jackson's fully healthy and they're performing in crowds of 7, 8, 9, 10,000, basically the crowds that they were used to performing in every week on Dynamite up until the pandemic hit. That match the rematch has every chance in the world to be the greatest tag team match of the modern era.
Yes.
And this was the only match on the show that I missed, but I'm actually, I'm actually happy that I missed this one because man, that was just something. And it was a real feel good moment, I think, for me to see the Bucks win this, especially, Matt getting the win with, the super kick using the bad leg,
But back up from that point right there, DDJ, because like I said, ring psychology, FTR, all hits, no flips. It was a flip that led to the
That was crazy.
Yep, that's a great call out there. So, and you kind of going to make you wonder, will Tully question maybe why they did that, because he wasn't there. Because if Tully was there, do you think that was Cash Wheeler that did that, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Do you think Tully's going to have a little talk with Cash, maybe and be like, hey, why did you do that? Maybe that might and that stuff. But no, that's a great point. But again, kudos to all four guys. It was a hell of a match of the night. They took so much, from not only the great tag teams of the past, but again, you mentioned the rivalry between the Lakers and the Celtics, and they incorporated that in the match. And any diehard long-term time NBA fan knows that the Lakers versus the Celtics is the greatest rivalry in all of basketball. So
yes, it is.
Right.
And we basically got that with FTR and the Bucks. So,
yep. And this is not the end of this by any stretch of the imagination. If you know anything about the Lakers and Celtics, they have battled countless times. So expect more matches between the Bucks and the Revival. Maybe even like a best of 7 series or something. More is coming when Matt Jackson is healthy. Going to get the rematch probably Revolution or sooner. So that's going to be great. I really don't think I get why the Bucks won. It'll be interesting to see where they go with the titles. I personally wanted FTR to win. They only just won at the last pay-per-view against Kenny and Hangman. But I guess like the whole point was to hot shot titles to the Bucks. But hopefully this is like the start of them going back and forth possibly. So we'll see.
Real quick before we move on, I can easily see the FTR, not the Revival. You said the Revival earlier, Spence.
No, I said FTR, didn't I?
You
FTR.
said the Revival.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's beyond the point. I definitely see FTR taking the titles off the Bucks. I think that's going to happen, and I think it's probably going to happen sooner than I think later.
Yeah, agree. Brianna Sisk, hopefully I'm saying that right. She's happy the Bucks finally won the titles. She personally found FTR was boring as champs. I kind of disagree with that one. And then the Young Bucks versus FTR again was match of the night. So agree with all of that except FTR being boring.
Chiming in, Brianna. That's awesome.
Yes, and to speak to what she said, you know what? Not everybody's gonna like the same people. That's what makes wrestling great, because there's something out there for everybody.
Right. I mean, exactly.
FTR, again, they're obviously not Brianna's cup of tea, and that's her right. For me though, I mean, again, being the old school fan, I appreciate, what they can do. I mean, they don't need to do the flips, like their tagline, no flips, just fist.
Just fist.
They're the prototypical old school wrestlers that I think modern professional wrestling needs.
Yes, the current day brainbusters.
Absolutely.
All right. This is going to be a fun one to talk about. We have Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara in the Elite Deletion, which seriously was some crazy shit. If you have never seen a Matt Hardy, Hardy compound match, this was your first experience. Welcome. You're probably going to be seeing more of those for sure. Yep. Crazy stuff. We had the Hurricane. We had Gangrel.
Yes.
Private Party. Santana Ortiz showed up. And then we had one spot where, honestly, I thought Sammy died. Just the way it was placed and everything. But overall, I don't think you can really – it wasn't really a match. It was sort of like a cinematic match, but not really. But you have the Hardy spots that you got if you've seen the past ones from Impact and the one from WWE with Bray Wyatt. But it was good what it was. It'll be very interesting to see where they go with Sammy now, and with how MJF is part of the inner circle from the next match we're going to talk about. So it'll be interesting to see how they play that out and where Matt Hardy goes now. That pretty much, I think the feud is over, and might lead to a face turn for Sammy. So we'll see, guys. What do you think?
Just again, all those appearances. I marked out for the Hurricane. I sure as hell marked out. Well, I thought that was
back. There's a hurricane coming through.
And then Shane Helms as the damn reporter.
Reporter Gregory Helms.
Yeah.
Gregory Helms. I died with the reporter.
Yeah. But and how impressive was it for like when he went from being ace reporter Gregory Helms, and then like 2 seconds later they're back in the ring and you see the Hurricane there. How impressive was that?
Oh, he's quick.
Yeah, he's really quick.
Also, that's called editing, but that's fine.
It's still good us. Damn it.
We break kayfabe on here.
Yeah, but no, this match. The one word I used to describe this match is fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it was the typical, somebody driving up into the Hardy compound. It seems like that's how all these matches start, whether it's on a motorcycle, truck, someone driving a truck, Sammy had the golf cart. And right away, they pay homage to the Stadium Stampede and I believe the Falls Count Anywhere match that Matt Hardy and Kenny Omega had with Sammy and I think it was Chris, where basically Sammy kept getting run over by the golf cart and stuff.
Right.
They paid homage to that. In fact, during this match, I think towards the end of the match, Ryan Barkin, owner of ProWrestlingTees.com, puts out, a post in the VIP group. Basically, they've got a shirt for this match out already.
Of course they do.
But, I mean, it was fun. I mean, from the monster truck crushing the golf cart to, again, the appearances of, Private Party, Proud and Powerful, Gangrel, the Hurricane, just everything. Just to when they got into the Dome of Deletion, the doors locked, and then that really went on. And even though that you could, again, that was edited and put together, man, and I think I even said this in our video chat. I said, "Oh my God, they killed Sammy, you bastards!"
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, that's a South Park reference.
Oh my God, they killed Sammy,
you bastards!
You bastards!
But I mean, then it's just overall that match was what I had hoped it would be, and then some. And then you forgot two important cameos at the end. You forgot
Reby.
Yes.
And you forgot Senor Benjamin, who
you can't forget Senor Benjamin.
The closing of Sammy Guevara. And first off, props to Sammy Guevara for taking those fireworks because
it shot right at him.
Yeah, he took those.
It had to burn a little.
I
fortunate enough to never have been hit by one of those things, but that couldn't have felt good. That had to burn.
Yeah.
So overall, great match. Matt Hardy went over, but I'll tell you what, Sammy got over in that match too because man, even though he got basically killed, he is one tough son of a bitch.
I'll agree on that point, Jovan.
I'll say this, and I'm gonna keep it brief with this one because I normally don't like cinematic matches, guys. The main reason being is I feel like there's not enough wrestling in them, but this one actually gave us a fair amount of wrestling, actual wrestling in a ring, outside a ring, towards the finish. It was all wrestling based, so I kind of enjoyed this one a lot more than I thought I would. The fireworks spot was freaking unbelievable. Santana and Ortiz showing up was unbelievable. Gangrel coming out looking like a badass was amazing.
Yeah.
For somebody who doesn't like this type of match very often, this was definitely one that I enjoyed. The finish was great, putting Sammy in the trash, taking him out. Hopefully, we see a face Sammy because I know people are dying to get behind this kid and they need to strap a rocket on him.
One thing I want to just interject in here, and I guess this will be my hot take of the night. To me, that didn't even really feel like a cinematic match.
No, not really.
No, it didn't.
It felt like literally a match where falls counted anywhere, like because they went everywhere.
Yes,
like I said, they did the music and everything, but even like the presentation, it didn't. It didn't seem like what we saw at WrestleMania with AJ and the Undertaker, and then Cena and Wyatt. It felt like an actual match.
Yeah.
So that's just something I wanted to say. So.
And see, I agree with you on that point. I was like, everybody was saying it was going to be the Hardy compound. I was expecting, like total craziness, but no, they kind of kept it. I mean, they did their crazy shit for sure, but then they had like a mix of actual wrestling. So it's not a true cinematic match. So maybe we're starting to find that balance between cinematic matches and actual wrestling, and maybe kind of please both sides. Because I know, got a comment from Rich. I know we talked about it. Can't wait to see what Jim Cornette or somebody like that has to say about this match. They're probably losing it. And what he thought, and he loved seeing Hurricane and Gangrel. So that was an overall crowd pleaser.
Yes, it was. Thanks again, Rich, for sticking with us.
All right. And to reward Rich, we're going to start talking about the MJF versus Chris Jericho match where, well, we already know MJF won, and he is going to be a part of the Inner Circle. Rich wants to know, who's the best heel in the wrestling, and why is it MJF?
Rich is a smart man.
Yes, he is. Simply put, and I think we discussed this last night or just in a conversation. And I want to definitely say that MJF is the best heel, but again, and we'll get into this a little bit later with the main event and stuff, but Eddie Kingston right now is the best on the mic, and there's no one even close to him. But yes, going back to MJF, he gets it. He gets what he get on. You can tell he's a student of the game. I would love, although I'm sure it's probably virtually impossible. I would love to be able to have it sit down with him and ask him like who his influences were, because I mean,
his influences are MJF.
How did you not figure that out?
That's how MJF would aim, but I'm talking about the man behind MJF.
You mean out of kayfabe?
Yeah, like I'm talking like a shoot interview type thing. Like what
I don't think you will ever get that.
I've never seen the man outside of MJF.
The only time I ever saw MJF in any kind of where he was not in character was the brief appearance he had in the Pro Wrestling Tees documentary that came out.
Look here.
There was a little snippet where they were getting, like, all the wrestlers were getting a tour of where they do the shirts and stuff. And I think he was with Luchasaurus, and like he said something about the shirt after just come off the appearance. Like, man, it's still really warm. I mean, that's the only time I've seen him out of character. But no, going back to the question at hand.
I a really warm shirt.
Oh yeah, I've gotten shirts done there while I wait. They do stay warm for a little while once they come off the press. But anyways, getting back to MJF. Simply put, he gets it. He's that throwback heel that, again, like I said about FTR, he's that throwback heel, that throwback wrestler that this business really needs, because he is just what he does. He is so good at getting people to hate him.
Right.
And it's, again, that's a lost art, and I think in today's professional wrestling.
Yeah, with MJF, I think what makes him so great is he knows he's good, right?
Absolutely.
And there's not a lot of people who can walk the walk.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
But you know it. You know it.
Yep.
And that's his whole thing. That's what makes him so great. His confidence is to the moon. And I think that's what makes him a true heel. And the thing is, it's not just MJF on TV either. It's very rare we see this man break kayfabe. I was at a meet and greet, and the MFer called me Tons of Fun. And he didn't even sign my autograph that I paid for. He had Wardlow do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever saw him. If I remember, if you haven't, I'll send you the picture. But I had I just gotten the I Hate MJF shirt. And I took a selfie with it, and I posted it on Twitter, and I tagged him in the message, and
yeah,
I got eviscerated on Twitter by him, and wrestling fan.
Yeah, I was just looking it up. I have an autograph from him that says "Too Fatty," and I'm like, I'm a little bit big. I'm working on it. Sort of. The ice cream didn't help tonight. But
hold on, we're getting all there. Jacob, the one time I miss a watch along, you get everybody ice cream. I'm very upset, sir. We will talk later.
No, Spencer was the only one that got ice cream. I just found because I just finished eating my dinner. Otherwise, I would have taken him up on his offer for food.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't have been here for 60 minutes, so I had some time, but then Jackass didn't even tell me it was outside. It melted. But anyways, so yeah, I got that. And then we also, calling back for like a month or so, whatever, we got a fun video from him that basically kind of gave us a shout out for Pro Wrestling Junkies, but he basically said we weren't even worth his time, and he did that all in kayfabe, like just in his bed.
Yeah.
Funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. I don't even know if we have that video anymore, but that was great.
I want to watch that again.
I have it saved on my phone. That's how much I love that shoot.
Oh god, such a good shoot.
Yes.
But yeah. So we talked about MJF. Let's go into the other person that was in this match, and then we'll move on to the main event. Chris Jericho did the job. He is at a different stage in his career. He is putting everyone over. I don't think he's won a pay-per-view match. Let's see. He's lost everyone he's done.
I think the last one. I think the last one he won was Full Gear last year when he beat.
That's
Kobe.
what I'm saying. Yeah, he hasn't won since Full Gear last year. He's putting everybody over. He's put over John Moxley, Orange Cassidy again, and then now MJF.
But see, also too, but the guys that he still beat, he made him look like a million. I mean, look what he did for, let's say, Isaiah Cassidy of Private Party.
Yep.
He did it. I think he had a really good match with. He made Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela look good in that tag match.
Yeah,
he's not. And this is one of the reasons why I have such admiration and respect for Chris Jericho, is because he gets it. He understands that he's at that point in his career where he's more worried about making the new stars and preparing the guys to take over for him when he finally hangs up the trunks than he is still putting himself over at this age. Because Jericho's basically one of those guys that right now nothing could hurt him.
Right.
He is invincible. And I kind of want to just briefly touch on the match and that real quick.
Yeah.
How it was just I thought it would have went a little longer than it did, but you know what? Two heels that do anything to win. I thought it was great, and just that ending. I mean, that was just perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Jericho with the bat, like, "Oh, I'm going to get you," and MJF looks at him, and it's almost like thinking, "Oh no, don't hit me." He flicks him off, and he pulls the Eddie Guerrero.
A lot of cheese deal, baby.
And then when Aubrey takes the bat away from Jericho, and Jericho's like, John with Aubrey, boom, he sweeps in, rolls him up, 1, 2, 3, holding the tights, and he's in. And Jericho's like, damn it, he got me.
Yeah.
And you could tell.
And the one thing I'm going to say about the match, man, and mostly about Aubrey, I think sometimes with some of the big spots, especially in Jericho's matches, she kind of is a little too into the match or a little too involved in the match.
Right.
I'm a Ref Aubrey fan at times, but I feel like especially with Jericho, she goes the extra mile to make sure that she's either in the face or she's doing, just weird little small things that you could maybe pick up on when you're watching Jericho's matches.
Yeah.
But real quick, Giovanni, if you don't mind me asking you, do you think that's her or do you think that was at Jericho's request?
I don't know. It could go either way because I do know that Jericho says that he likes to work with her because she can do those things.
I just, the only reason why I ask is because I think, again, and not only is he putting the talent over, he's putting the referees over as well too. I think he wants to give them their moments and stuff because, again, pretty much every Jericho match you see more times than not, Aubrey Edwards is the referee, and I think Jericho has a lot of say in it. So I think honestly, I agree with you with what you said about, I think sometimes she's a little too involved in the matches, but I honestly I think that's, Jericho's request.
Yeah, I could see him requesting that. I mean, she does add another element to the match, especially his matches. She kind of pulls out or at least highlights more of those heel tactics that go on. It's just, I think sometimes it's a little much. Y'all boys better wake up. Y'all are getting me tired. Damn it.
Well, did you have a 5-year-old crawl into bed with you and wake you up at like 6:30 in the morning?
No.
And that's you.
Did you sleep until about 10 a.m. and you're just still overall tired? Yep.
Yes. You know what? That was me today. Yes.
Okay.
I can't
but okay, we'll start wrapping it up for DDJ's sake because he's the one falling asleep.
Old man of the Junkyard.
But let's get into the main event now. We had Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston for the AEW World Championship in an I Quit match. We knew it was going to be brutal. we knew there was going to have to be something done to either competitor to make them say I quit, because these are two tough MFers. And Eddie Kingston said I quit when John Moxley, he wrapped the barbed wire basically around his hand, around his arm, put him in the bulldog choke he's been doing for now, and had it. Eddie Kingston didn't say I quit. He wrenched back on it until probably about to cut his face, and he had to say it. But there were some brutal spots. We had the obligatory barbed wire bat. We had thumbtack spots. Then we had the spot I think was honestly very insane. We had rubbing alcohol on John Moxley and his open wounds. I don't know if anybody's ever used like hand sanitizer that has just like a little bit of alcohol. You get a cut. I do it all the time at work. I'm putting hand sanitizer on. It fucking burns. And it's just like, So overall, I thought it was good. I'm a little disappointed. I was expecting a little bit more. I was kind of really hyping it up. I thought they delivered, what they could. But overall, great match. I expected maybe a little bit more craziness, but maybe they had to kind of keep it not to go too crazy. But overall, great match. I think Eddie Kingston, as Dennis has been saying, kind of the overall theme of the night, John Moxley went over, Eddie Kingston got over.
Mm-hmm. So much like you said, Spencer, I was expecting a little bit more violent. I felt like the match that Moxley had with Kenny Omega last year's Full Gear was more brutal than what we got with this.
Right. Yes.
And that, and I guess it kind of left me disappointed. And I mean, maybe it's because, again, I was expecting this. I mean, again, it was pretty brutal for what it was, but I just felt like I thought that we were going to see more. Like, I thought like both guys were going to be just like these bleeding buckets of blood. And
that's what I was expecting or hoping for.
And I mean, maybe it could have been they were told, hey, we got to tone it down a little bit or something, because again,
COVID,
that very well could be the case and stuff. And if that's the case, you know what? F you, COVID.
Well, of course.
But again, all in all, great match, brutal match. Eddie Kingston saying I quit because he had was being choked out with barbed wire being pressed into his face. No shame in going down that way. And Eddie Kingston will have his day. And real quick, the post-match interaction between John Moxley and the winner of the World Title Eliminator Tournament, Kenny Omega, having their face-off, it obviously shows that's where we're headed with the title.
Yeah, and I think pre-post match, before that happened, with Kingston denying Moxley's help on getting up and getting out of there.
Yep.
That was big, man. And in the match overall, like you said, it was brutal. The thumbtacks, the alcohol. Honestly, when they went for the bag, I'm sadistic, I guess. I'm freaking nuts because I'm over here. Please be glass. Be glass. But of course, it's thumbtacks. Yeah, it is. I was watching GCW before in the morning, so
oh god,
I was death matched mindset. I'm like, oh god, he's got the glass. But
man,
for what this was, guys, I mean, it was great storytelling. Two guys who are friends, and as you know, in the wrestling business, it sucks to have friends in the business because they're gonna go at you strong because they know what you can take.
Yep. Yeah,
and I was thoroughly into it. I really, 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 with all my heart, wish that Eddie Kingston would have gone over. But of course, Mox did. But I think, like DDJ said, Kingston went over.
Right. So,
that's
basically it. Just all on top to bottom. Overall great show. And if I can just basically, what I would rate it, I'm not going to do the Dave Meltzer 5-star because again I can't stand the guy and I don't understand why he's such revered the way
10
he is.
10 stars.
Do it overall out of 10.
I would give it an 8.5.
Spencer?
I was kind of on the lower end, but after talking with you guys, I was kind of like a 7.5, so I'll kick it up to an 8. So I end on 8.
All right, Giovanni, what about you, buddy?
I'm giving it a solid 8, man. I think the only reason that I'm at an 8 is I was expecting so much more in the way of debuts than just Gangrel and the Hurricane.
Right.
And you see some spots and you're leading up to, you're like, oh shit, this would be the perfect spot for this person to come out, or oh, this is where they're gonna play this person, and nothing really happens, and you're like, well, womp womp.
Yeah, and I kind of want to talk about this before we wrap up the show. I think they hyped up the debuts. With the commercial they had with, you never know who's going to show up. AEW has had, big moments basically at almost every pay-per-view. And they got us thinking, okay, there's going to be something big. We had Thunder Rosa appear. And then, in the Hardy Compound match, the Elite Deletion, you had Gangrel and Hurricane. That was about it. There was no Pac. There was no Ryback. There was no Sting.
Keep Ryback
more.
No.
Yeah. No, nobody needs to be fed. But yeah. But honestly, there was no big debuts. The show was, again, we all think it's great. We got an 8.5 from Rich. Also want to give a shout out to Real Wrestling. Thank you for joining us, Rich, tonight.
Rich stayed through the whole night. MVP.
Yeah, with us the whole time. You're the real MVP.
Rich gets a 10 out of 10 from me.
Oh, 10. Where's Sean Spears? That's all I want to know.
His dance partner has COVID.
Oh, sad day. We're gonna get that match eventually, though. But we got a solid Dynamite post Full Gear coming up. We got the Junkyard match with the Natural Nightmares and Butcher and Blade. We have Tate Conti with Anna Jay versus Red Velvet with Brandy Rhodes. And then we have Penta L0M versus Ray Phoenix Part 2. Then some other matches whenever probably the fallout from Full Gear, probably MJF joining the Inner Circle, Mox, all that. So got a great show coming up this Wednesday. Great pay-per-view to cap off the year for AEW. Strong, probably storylines heading into next year. Hopefully 2021 is better for everyone. But yeah, overall, great pay-per-view. Got a great show coming up this Wednesday. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Do you guys have any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Real quick.
Yeah.
Guys, please don't forget a new episode of The Junkyard coming out on Tuesday.
That's my boy. Don't forget to plug.
For fear of being tied down, my eyes taped open, being forced to watch Retribution, I'm not going to say anything about who we have lined up for the show, even though I want to spill the beans. This is only our second episode, but I cannot stress enough how can't miss this is, because this is a really big episode for us in more ways than one.
Yes. Big implications.
Anything else about it?
I'm done. I don't want to be forced to watch Retribution, so I'm keeping quiet.
Retribution.
We'll get little pieces of paper and give you paper cuts and then put alcohol on it.
God. I'm sorry. That spot. I saw that. I'm just like,
I did
the
too.
Thumbtacks, screw the barbed wire. That's awful.
If you follow the Pro Wrestling Junkies Facebook page, which you should be, and if you're watching this live on the page, you do. Mm-hmm. I put on the page not too long ago that for some weird reason, my sick self wants to do a thumbtack bump. And when I saw the alcohol, I started backtracking a little bit. I'm like, you know what? I'll do it, but don't put no alcohol on me.
Oh, so you'll get a tattoo, but when it comes to the thumbtacks and alcohol, you're like, nope.
Oh, no, forget that, man. No alcohol. I'll take the thumbtacks, but not the alcohol.
All right.
One more thing, real quick. Every time you say, you don't say debut, you say debut.
Yeah.
I always get a picture of Rikishi in my head. I don't know why.
Because that is the wrestling butt. It's no good butts. It's not.
Like every time we say the butt, should just pop a picture of Rikishi.
Oh, Jesus.
Maybe in the future. But guys, It's late. We're all tired. I know you guys are tired from after watching the pay-per-view and for sticking up with us late at night. Rich, Brianna, anybody else that stopped by, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Like Dennis said, make sure you check out the Junkyard, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, basically any major podcast. We're on there now. So make sure you check us out. New episode coming out Tuesday. Big episode. Seriously, can't miss. A lot of implications for it in more ways than one. Make sure you subscribe to all our socials at PW_junkies on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And just make sure I think some of these people are probably just all coming from the page. Make sure you join our group. That's where the real fun happens. We got contests. We have interesting posts in there, and got watch parties and everything. So make sure you're joining the group. This is honestly the fastest rising and most positive wrestling community. And honestly, I can't believe I forgot to mention this, and we need to start mentioning it now because we only have like 24 hours left. We were going to have Brody Lee on for Monday night. Yep. But unfortunately, due to some other stuff outside of our control, that is not happening anymore. But thank you to All Elite Wrestling and the great social team and everybody else involved. We have the best man, Miro, joining us Monday night. I think it's at 7. We're just working out the final details. But make sure you guys join us for that 30 minutes to hour. I'm not really sure. Again, still working on all the details. It's going to be great. Miro Crush, Rusev Crush, whichever one you want to call him. Come out. Yes, happy Miro Day. Make sure you guys join us for that.
I want to call him one lucky son of a bitch because of who he's married to.
Well, we all want to call him one lucky son of a bitch. But Lana, you deserve better. Stop getting put through tables. But thank you for myself, Jovan, DDJ. We're going to bid you adieu. Good night. Bang. See you guys Tuesday or the next time we hit the podcast. Later, guys.
Peace.